Today, we're diving into a crucial topic that holds immense power over our ability to manifest and attract the life we desire. So let's delve into a key to unlocking the life you've always envisioned. Now let's start by revisiting the fundamental concept that elevated emotion is the carrier of thought. As I often say, all energy, all frequency carries information. Picture this. The faster the frequency, the higher the energy. When combined with a clear intention, it becomes like a laser, creating a more coherent signature. We've measured this phenomenon and the results are profound. A coherent brain and heart lead to amazing transformations in one's life. But here's the catch. Just having an elevated emotion or a clear intention alone doesn't cut it. We've experimented and found that the magic happens when you combine both, the clear intention and the elevated emotion. It's like tuning a radio dial. Your thoughts are the intent, the direction, the specific frequency. The emotion is the energy, the carrier of that thought. Imagine it as broadcasting your desires into the quantum field. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and the potential in the quantum field, it's bound to find you. Now let's talk about intention. Getting clear on what you want is crucial. If you desire a new home or a beautiful garden, it's not just about feeling gratitude, it's about actively engaging with your desires. Start by collecting images or drawing pictures of what you want. Write down your dreams and keep your conscious mind focused on them. It's a bit like tending to a garden. You plant the seeds of your dreams and then you nurture them. Yes, it takes time, and yes, you'll encounter challenges like pulling weeds or pruning branches, but that's the joy of creation. You get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now let's delve into the power of symbols. Your intention represents all the details, but these details can be encapsulated in a symbol, a letter, a picture, one powerful image. By holding onto this symbol, you're holding onto the essence of your dreams. However, here's the twist. Don't attach your happiness to the future realization of your dreams. The thought itself is the experience, and the experience produces the emotion. Let's dive into a truly magical aspect of manifestation, the role of the heart. It's not just a pumping organ, it's a powerhouse that can significantly impact your ability to bring your dreams to life. Imagine it as the conductor of a symphony, orchestrating the frequencies and energies that shape your reality. Opening your heart is like unlocking a treasure trove of possibilities. It's not just a metaphor, there's actual science behind it. When your heart is open, it generates a measurable magnetic field, reaching as far as 3 meters wide. Picture this field as the energetic signature of your intentions, like ripples in a pond carrying the essence of your desires. Now let's talk about the magic of gratitude. When you feel gratitude with an open heart, it's like turning up the volume on your broadcast. You're not just sending out intentions, you're emitting a powerful energy that resonates with the universe. It's a harmonious dance between your heartfelt gratitude and the vast energy field that surrounds you. But here's a crucial point to remember. If you find yourself in a state of suffering, that energy takes on a different flavor. It doesn't carry the thoughts of wealth or health. Instead, it broadcasts a different set of thoughts born from pain or discomfort. It's a signal that the heart's frequency has shifted, and the energy being emitted is not in alignment with the future you're envisioning. To manifest the future you desire, it's imperative that your heart remains open and activated. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about a conscious commitment to keeping your heart space expansive and receptive. It's about cultivating an environment within yourself that is conducive to the positive frequencies you want to attract. Now, let's talk about self-regulation, a superhero power in the manifestation journey. Life is full of twists and turns, and challenges will inevitably come your way. The key is to have the ability to bring yourself back to the energy of your future in those moments. It's like being the captain of your ship, steering it back on course when the waves of life try to veer you off track. Think of self-regulation as a muscle you strengthen through practice. If you've been working on it with your eyes closed, visualizing and feeling the energy of your future, the next step is doing it in real time with your eyes wide open. It's about maintaining that heart-centered frequency no matter what life throws at you. Building a resilient and open heart requires great awareness and effort. It's a conscious choice to prioritize the energy of your future over the emotions of the past. Imagine having a community of like-minded individuals practicing this daily, a support system that reinforces the collective commitment to living in the energy of their envisioned futures. Now, let's explore the two states of mind we can live in: creation and survival. Living in creation means growth, expansion, health, and positive emotions. On the other hand, living in survival is stress-induced, leading to imbalance and, over time, disease. We often fall into the trap of living in survival due to our ability to trigger stress responses with our thoughts alone. Breaking free from this cycle requires a conscious effort to change our neurology, our emotions, and ultimately, our health. It's about liberating the trapped energy and transforming negative emotions into joy. Let's take a moment to explore a fascinating concept: how our subjective mind has a significant impact on the objective world around us. In the realm of traditional Newtonian physics, the prevailing idea is rooted in cause and effect. It suggests that something external to us can bring about a change within us. It's like a billiard ball hitting another, causing it to move. Now, let's ponder a captivating alternative. What if we possess the ability to change something within ourselves independently, irrespective of external influences? This thought challenges the conventional understanding of how the world operates and opens up the possibility of a more profound connection between our minds and the reality we experience. In our daily lives, our surroundings often dictate our thoughts and feelings. We find ourselves entangled in repetitive patterns, responding to external stimuli in predictable ways. It's a bit like being on autopilot, where our reactions are predetermined by the circumstances surrounding us. However, the real magic happens when we recognize the inherent power within us. It's the realization that we can consciously alter our consciousness, thoughts, and feelings. This isn't about wishful thinking or mere positive affirmations. It's about a fundamental shift in how we perceive and engage with the world. Breaking free from the limitations imposed by the external environment becomes a liberating journey. Picture it as stepping out of the shadows and into the light of your own creation. It's about taking control of the narrative, realizing that you are not a passive recipient of circumstances, but an active participant in shaping your reality. So you be mindful of the words you use and the thoughts you entertain. The most deadly words are the ones that block the law of attraction and halt your manifestations. Elevate your emotions, get clear on your intentions, and live in the state of creation rather than survival. You are a reality-producing machine, and the power to change your life lies within you. Break free from the chains of negative emotions and embrace the joy of true self-love. It's a journey that requires effort, awareness, and a commitment to creating a life beyond your wildest dreams. Now, intention is a vision, a potential that already exists in the quantum field that you get to select. And when you ask yourself a question like, what would it be like to be healthy? What would it be like to be wealthy? What would it be like to be free or to be in love? The moment you ask that creative question, a part of your brain called the frontal lobe turns on. That's the crowning achievement of the human being. Once that area of the brain turns on, it's like a great symphony leader. It looks out of the landscape of the entire brain, and it begins to randomly select different networks of neurons that are connected to the things you've learned in your life or the experiences you've had. And it begins to seamlessly paste them together to create an ideal, a vision, or an internal representation. That is a potential experience that's awaiting you. But it's not enough to just have the mind involved. Thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates a state of being. Once you can begin to emotionally embrace that future reality before it's made manifest, when you combine that clear intention with an elevated emotion, the freedom, the joy, the inspiration, the genuine love that you feel or gratitude from that experience, the moment you do that, your body as the unconscious mind begins to believe it's living in that future reality in the present moment. Now you're moving into a new state of being, into a new personality, and a new personality creates a new personal reality. The research that we've done shows that when we teach people how to regulate their internal states, to begin to create more coherence in their brain, and to generate elevated emotions like joy and gratitude and inspiration, that not only does the brain become coherent, but so does the heart. And when the brain is coherent, the heart is coherent. When the heart is coherent, the brain is coherent. And so why don't we live by these states on a daily basis? Primarily because the majority of the time that we live in our waking state of consciousness, 70% of the time, you and I are living by the hormones of stress. And living in stress is living in survival. And when you're living in survival, the very chemicals of survival cause you to function as materialist, defining your reality with your senses. You pay attention to objects and things and people. You begin to believe that your outer world is more real than your inner world. And the side effect of this over time begins to cause us to feel separate from possibility. Why? Because when you're threatened by some predator or some danger in your life, it's not a time to go in. It's not a time to trust the unknown. It's not a time to open your heart and feel love. It's not a time to communicate. It's not a time to create. It's not a time to learn. It's a time to survive. So then in order for us to create, we have to lay down the very thing we used our whole life to get what we want for something greater to occur. And most importantly, we want you to understand when you're in the creative state and when you're not. And if you were to take a little time every day and apply some of the principles in changing beliefs and perceptions about yourself and your life, and what is a belief other than a thought you keep thinking over and over again? And all beliefs are based on past experiences. And in order for you to change a belief or perception about yourself and your life, you have to make a decision with such firm intention that the amplitude of that decision carries a level of energy that's greater than the hardwired programs in your brain and the emotional conditioning in your body. And your body literally has to respond to a new mind. And when the choice becomes an experience that you never forget, that's the moment the past biologically no longer exists in you. People use the word victim so much, and I don't really think we spend a lot of time really unraveling the idea. But if I said to you, Jay, how are you doing today? And you said, well, I'm really upset because of this person or this circumstance or this condition in my life, then what we're saying, this is not conscious, this is an unconscious program. What we're saying is somebody out there is actually controlling the way I'm feeling and the way that I'm thinking. So if something out there is controlling your feelings and your thoughts, you're victim to whoever, whatever that is. Now here's the challenge. The challenge is when things go really well, then you are feeling really good. But when things aren't going very well, then you're feeling pretty bad. So then the end result of that is that many people then become unconsciously reliant on something out there to change how they feel and hear. But if they don't understand that they're creating reality all the time and they're living in lack, in unworthiness, in separation for their whole entire life, waiting for the event to happen to take away their lack or emptiness, well, they'll spend their whole entire life wishing, wanting, waiting, hoping. And so then that creates further separation from things changing. So then the idea then is to turn that battleship around. Is it possible then that the way you think and the way you feel can begin to produce effects in your outer world? Now that isn't something that you swallow in one bite. It's a process of gaining knowledge. It's a process of practice. It's a process of experience. But once you start seeing those synchronicities, those coincidences, those opportunities that start to fall into place because you're experiencing change in your outer world, if you're doing the work, you're going to start paying attention to what you're doing inside of you that's producing. Now it begins to come to you. You become the vortex or the magnet to your destiny. You are not going anywhere to get anything. You are actually collapsing space and time, and you are drawing the experience to you. You are the vortex, because when there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field by tuning a radio dial, when you lock into that frequency, if you keep revisiting that energetic signature over again every single day, then you don't have to go anywhere and get it. The new job finds you. The new house actually finds you. The new relationship finds you, because you are the vortex that's drawing the experience to you. The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving. So we got to come initiated into this and understand it. If you want to create a new life, a new personal reality, you got to change your personality, which means you better start thinking about what you've been thinking about and changing it. You begin to become conscious of your unconscious actions or habits or behaviors and modify them. And then we have to begin to look at the emotions that we live by every single day that keep us connected to the past and decide, do these emotions belong in our future? So most people are trying to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And can you select a new possibility in the quantum field and begin to emotionally embrace that future every single day to such a degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, the objective mind, does not know the difference between the experience in your life that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're fabricating by thought alone, to the degree that you begin to signal new genes and new ways to change your body to look like the experience has already happened. Now, the latest research in epigenetics says it's absolutely possible. This every day, installing the circuitry every day, conditioning the body into the emotion of the future, that your body begins to change to look like it's already happened. Now, this is where it gets fun, because now you no longer have to go anywhere to get it. If you think that your thoughts have something to do with your future, just from a theoretical standpoint, that your thoughts create your destiny, and you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, well, then your life isn't going to change very much, as long as you're thinking the same way. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the memories of the past. Is it possible then that the way you think and the way you feel can begin to produce effects in your outer world? Now, that isn't something that you swallow in one bite. It's a process of gaining knowledge. It's a process of practice. It's a process of experience. But once you start seeing those synchronicities, those coincidences, those opportunities that start to fall into place because you're experiencing change in your outer world, if you're doing the work, you're going to start paying attention to what you're doing inside of you that's producing the effect outside of you. And once you correlate the changes of what you're doing inside of you with the effect you produce outside of you, you're going to pay attention to what you did, and you're going to do it again. And all of a sudden, you're going to start believing more that you're the creator of your life and less of the victim of your life. And those same thoughts lead to the same choices. The same choices lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the exact same experiences, and we anticipate the same feelings or emotions from those experiences, and those emotions are the payoff that drive our very same thoughts. Well, our biology, our neurocircuitry, our neurochemistry, our hormones, and even our gene expression will be equal to how we think, how we act, and how we feel. And how we think, how we act, and how we feel is called our personality. And our personality creates our personal reality. That's it. I want people to begin to understand that thoughts are very powerful, feelings drive our thoughts, and that they can begin to create a better life for themselves once they understand some of these principles. We live in a world where often when people think about visioning the future, they vision stuff. So you have a vision of the car you want, or you have a vision of an amount of money you want, or you have a vision of a home you want, and you see this with people with their vision boards. What's your take on that? And is that the right type of visioning? And what is the right type of visioning? Well, we do so many different variations because I think people integrate information differently. And all of those cars and homes and whatever that is, they are symbols of what it looks like when a person actually arrives at this concept called abundance, right? So if those things help them to associate with something that creates a feeling of abundance, and they're building their vision board to help them to get clear on their intent, then that's fine. Because they're associating objects or things or material things that they'll say, that's when I know that I'm abundant. That's fine. Other people will say, look, abundance just means that I have more than I need, and I'm happy with that. And for them, there's a feeling that is associated with that. And when they begin to dream about their future, they may see themselves in a scene or see themselves a certain way. I don't care what it takes for the person to get there, because once they have their abundance, and this happens quite a bit in our work, when you finally have everything you want, there's only one thing you're going to ask yourself: how am I going to contribute to the world? How am I going to make a difference? So we use different tools to help people to get to that point. But if the person's doing the vision board and they're saying, when I get my new car, I get my new house, I get my new relationship, then I'm going to feel so great. Well, then they're back to the program, waiting for it to happen, for them to feel the emotion. They're believing their outer world has to change in order for them to feel better. There's no effect of drawing the experience to you that way. So the person has to use those tools to get them into the emotional state for them to feel like it's already happened. Now think about this. If you get up from a creative process and you feel grateful, you feel a love for life, you feel a joy for existence, you feel a passion for the moment, you will not be looking for your future because you'll feel like it's already happened. It's the moment that we start feeling those self-limiting emotions that we feel separation, and then we start looking for it again. Well then, if you're waiting, you're not creating, you're in separation again. So then whatever it takes for you to move into a state of being, and what is a state of being? Thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain. Feelings are the vocabulary of your body. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So then, if you wake up in the morning and you come back to your senses with a clean slate and you say, I don't feel anything, and you say, well, let me start thinking about all the problems in my life. Well, all those problems are connected to different people or different objects or things at different times and places. The moment you remember your problems, a memory is a record of the past. You're thinking in the past. Every one of those problems has an emotion associated with them. So all of a sudden you start feeling unhappy, you start feeling bitter, you start feeling frustrated. So now your body's in the past. So then most people then create a state of being that's connected to their past. And if they're in the familiar past, then they are going to crave the predictable future and they're going to fall back into routine. So then we want people then to get very clear on that vision of their future, however they do it, and begin to combine that clear intention with an elevated emotion. So then, if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you would have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and observe them. You would have to pay attention to your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Because if you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you and you are not passionate about that vision, then you are left with the old hardware of the past in your brain and you will be predictable in your life. So would you agree then? New thoughts, new information should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors, and new behaviors should create new experiences, and new experiences should produce new emotions, and those new emotions should drive new thoughts, and that's called evolution. So if your brain is a record of the past and you don't have a vision of the future, then you are living in the past, and you will never arrive at that new future. Now there's another potential for you to exist free from the chains of the old self. That potential exists right now, and I want you to teach your body emotionally what it would feel like so that it begins to believe it's in the actual experience of freedom. Let your body feel freedom so that it thinks it's in the experience. And I want you to sit in your body emotionally to feel the joy of how you would feel. So the body begins to be in a future potential now, emotionally, and there's a potential for you to have all your needs met and be wealthy. And I want you to instruct your body to experience wealth and the joy of riches ahead of the actual events, so your body thinks it's in the experience. If you feel it, your body thinks it's in the experience. It doesn't know the difference. Now there's a potential in the field for a genius mind, quicksilver thoughts, insights that take you to new horizons. And the electricity that's created from an open mind, teach your body emotionally the joy and the inspiration of what that would feel like, so the body begins to experience your genius and think that it's in the event now. And there's a possibility existing simultaneously in the quantum field of the vitality of a new life, rich with opportunity and awe for adventure, and a sense of unbelievability where you feel like you're in a dream. There's a potential in the quantum field that all your prayers are answered, that possibility finds you, that its prayers are being answered. You have to demonstrate a will that's greater than any program. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. You have to be inspiration, the movement of energy. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. For some people, their body will do unusual things. That's information trying to be integrated into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. If your body does weird things, more than likely that's energy moving to your brain. If you have a lapse of consciousness or you all of a sudden find yourself on the ground, that's energy moving into your brain. It's happened to me numerous times. It's a sign that you're getting close or at least doing it correctly. Now, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. Inspiration, the movement of energy. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. On a Sunday morning while she was in the shower, her husband said goodbye to his 2 children, yelled something to her while she was in the shower, and then went to the tallest building in Amsterdam and jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now that is a stressful event. And when she got the news, she experienced all the emotions that people experience from something that's shocking and traumatic like that. She was suffering. She was in pain. She was resentful. She was guilty. She was confused. She was angry. She went through the whole gamut of emotions. And all of those emotions, by the way, are derived from the hormones of stress. So she has an event in her life. It changes her biologically. She doesn't know how to control her emotional reaction. It turns into a mood, one long emotional reaction. If you keep reviewing that event in your mind, you begin to produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event was occurring. So her body is being conditioned to the past because she's reliving the experience 50 to 100 times in a day, and her body is beginning to believe it's in the same past experience over and over again. It ultimately goes from a mood to a temperament, and now people are asking her in her life, "Why are you so upset?" She tells the story, and she's basically saying, "I am this way because of this event that happened to me 4 months ago." So then if we keep that going for extended periods of time and those emotions are driving our thoughts and we can't think greater than how we feel, our feelings have become the means of thinking. We're thinking in the past, and now we're stuck in our biology. So one day she wakes up, and she's completely paralyzed from her waist down, and she can't get out of bed, so they rush her to the hospital. They do MRIs, they do all the tests. They can't find anything significant with her, so they just diagnose her with neuritis. And so now she's bedridden, and she cannot literally get out of bed. So now she can't work, she can't take care of her children. Her mother has to move in with her, and she doesn't have any money because she's not working, and her stress levels go up. So now the condition gets worse. As her stress levels go up, it's the same chemicals of stress that are knocking the brain and body out of balance, signaling the wrong genes in the wrong way. And another few months later, she develops these huge ulcerations in all the mucous membranes of her body, in her mouth, her throat, her upper stomach, her bladder, her vagina, her anus. She's got these huge ulcers. Now she can't eat, and if she can't eat, she's knocking her body now out of chemical balance even more, and it hurts. So now she's spiraling downward, and then she finally starts noticing her symptoms getting worse. And she goes to the doctor, and they diagnose her with esophageal cancer. Now, the moment she gets the diagnosis of esophageal cancer, now she gets even more stressed, and she's in fear now, and she realizes that her children may not have a mom. And so she came to one of our workshops, and I remember specifically because she came in with crutches and a wheelchair and a walker, and she sat on the left side of the room. And it was an introductory level course, and she understood that she could change it intellectually, but she had a very big challenge ahead of her, and she realized how much she was in her past. She had a vision of her future. Like she wasn't visualizing anything, she just got a very clear vision.